Hey guys, Randy with Academia Christi here. A blessed Triduum to you. This is episode 5 of the Viri Christi garden blog here on the week of Palm Sunday, April the 6th. Finally able to get outside, so there's a lot of new additions as well as some other things that have sort of changed around. So a lot of different things to talk about this time. Hope you enjoy. Okay, we are going to start here with the new edition of the little bedroom shelf where I have these two nicely growing mint cuttings that I just stuck straight into that pot, and they're doing really well. And this basil, this old basil that was another, actually just pulled out of one of those two pots that had multiple basil in it. Came out so nicely, I replanted it, and it's actually starting to grow its second set of leaves now, finally. Now, of course, the good old cucumber and dill pot. The dill, as always, looking beautiful, just almost. It's really just the stem being all curly and goofy that's not allowing it to sit nicely on the side of the pot, but it's really big enough to do so now. I've been taking pieces of it. Nice little pile of drying herbs starting to accumulate now. See the cucumbers coming along pretty nicely. Something going on with those bottom leaves, I guess maybe just getting old, I'm not sure. You see, I actually left a flower go because I finally got this nice big female flower. I don't know if it's going to pollinate. Those other flowers did end up blooming, those two males. I let them come up too so I could try pollinating that female flower. I don't know if I did so successfully, but we'll find out. Now out into the garage. First, our lemon balm. I had 3 pieces that I transplanted, quote unquote, out of that big planter into this. Only ones I found that were still kind of growing. Again, it's been a little cold for them, I think, here. Only one looks like it's still going. These arugula, however, I still have yet to thin them, which I really need to do. You see, this one that's by itself is looking amazing now. Just these 4 different spots here. This one and the other one, the next one, have 3 in it. You see one nice true leaf starting, but again, these really need, I guess there's only 2 left over here. They really need thinned out. It's a grape thing again, doing its thing. I'm not sure if that's a grape thing, just something growing in the grapes, but it seemed pretty sturdy, so I have no idea. This aloe, again, slow growing plant, but it's been around for a while, looking lovely. Never really has much of an issue. Doesn't take too much water. Probably gets most of the water it needs just from sitting in the garage here, just from that moisture. Here we have this little one I transplanted that was sitting out on the bench for a while. It actually seems like it started growing again already since last week. Nice thick leaf things, whatever you want to call them, stalks. Definitely good on the water right now. Pretty full. Here you see the big pot full of all the small ones. I haven't transplanted anything out of there yet. Still going to work on that. Have a lot of other things going on, so going to get around to that soon, hopefully. Hopefully give away a lot of those to from some friends and neighbors and whatnot. Finally, our beautiful garage spearmint. Give it a little bit of a turn, try to get those leaves, give them a little bit of a workout. They've been bent like that for a while. I'm hoping that main stem can come back up, but you see the new leaves are, they're nice, big, thick ones. It's starting to grow up real nice. That little one's looking quite fine too. Actually, I think it's starting to work out since I plucked it a while back. Hopefully it'll pick its growth back up. But yeah, this one looking amazing in my opinion. Now, another new addition, well, sort of. We have some more outdoor plants right now though. We're getting a little bit of rain, in fact, sprinkling on me, I think, as I was recording this. So I let these out. Again, also getting some nice weather. So they've been out here. All my grapes transplanted from mid-November last year, taken out of the ground and pulled over. Back here, a big patch of an old garden which was covered in big weeds, I've cleared out. I'm going to work on planting some mustard all around this beautiful rhubarb, which has been taking off early in the season here. I think it's been looking just amazing. You can see for yourself how nice and bushy it is. If I would have gone out and taken a picture every day, you would have seen some substantial growth over the past couple of days. Now for a bunch of plants that we have on the porch now, all things that I've already had, of course, but I figured these herbs were expendable. So I figured I would move them out first and see what would happen, see how they would do. This parsley, of course, always looking nice. It's doing just fantastic out here as well. The dill looking okay. I don't know, some of these things, maybe you could just use a whole transplant into a bigger pot. This time, the only one really that's growing properly. Have the lemon balm there, starting to get second sets of true leaves finally, and our cilantro, which after cutting it will have most of its leaves all upward. Leaves of all those getting bigger and bigger as they go. In here we have some more of those other herbs that I just started in these small containers, all this basil. It's also liking it, I believe, out here. Those first true leaves that already started now, these seem to be getting quite a bit bigger now, being outside. They've been outside a couple days now, maybe. Not exclusively. I bring them in. I usually actually take them into the garage during the afternoon so they can get that afternoon and evening sun on that side of the house and catch, get some warmth then too. In the garage, here's the parsley. Also, really, it's all transplants from that other parsley shown just a bit earlier. It was just so vigorously growing. That's how many I got out of just that one tiny clay pot. The ones in these bigger plastic ones doing amazing, doing much better. Looking almost as big as the hydroponic transplant that we'll see later. Here are two more that I have out on the porch because I thought they were hardy enough to deal with it. We have the wild strawberries that are from right outside there anyway. And this other, the indoor spearmint, which is now the outdoor spearmint, I guess. It's not, I don't think it's going to mind at all either because it's a pretty, the initial plant is a pretty old one. The two cuttings there are a little newer, but I think it's a hardy enough plant. And it got a little cold out over last night, the night before I'm recording this audio, but I brought them in for that. And those were just other parts of the shelfware that I can use later on whenever I need it. So we have tons of room outside. Not amazing light, but get some decent light there. Here we got what's left of the zombie plants. We've had 6 after giving some away a bit ago. I don't know how long they last, but some of them seem to be doing not great. Some are doing okay still. Been just flipping them around next to the grow light here. Habaneros, one of them growing okay, the other one not at all yet. That one might be done. That rosemary, the random rosemary we ended up finding, is doing just fine, growing better and better next to the light there. All those pepper cuttings were from our pepper brand experiment, but I saw that they could actually grow and reroot in water. There before that, our bib lettuce, not growing amazingly. It needs transplanted out into the garage arugula planter, I believe. That black Hungarian, no, I love how that's growing. It looks so amazing. It's my favorite so far for sure. It looks. The Aleppo chili also growing very well, I would say, in that little yogurt container. Started taking off a bit. It should probably be transplanted at this point. Here in the hydroponics, still just 2 things currently growing. The cilantro not actually growing, just the seed sitting there. I don't know if it's actually going to work. Finally, though, that Hungarian yellow hot wax pepper, it was growing and now is doing quite nicely. I think it'll turn out nice. Here over on the rack, now that other things are outside, I'm starting to get cleared off. We see that old palm thing in the aloe, the small aloe here, the bigger aloe. Still just doing their thing. I mean, they're alive. They're definitely alive. They don't look as good as the other aloe, but they are alive, I promise. I have that rosemary hydro transplant that was small. It's actually turning out decent now. definitely going to keep that. That's a little new strawberry pot that I got, a $3 thing to maybe grow some strawberries, maybe get some to actually work. These are all those peppers I started in this thing, those hot peppers that just are not working for some reason. Those couple serrano still hanging on. Actually, those might be the jalapenos. It's on the broken side of the container. It looks like it's not, so it's probably the serrano. And here again, even older peppers that I'm still trying to nurse. This cayenne, the smaller of the two cayenne, not looking great. It's been struggling for a bit now. This serrano and this other cayenne both looked a bit like that, but they sprung back after a day. I saw one day they were down, the next day they were okay again. Here are first tomato, looking to me, I don't know what tomatoes are exactly supposed to look like, but to me it looks quite good so far. Leaves coming out pretty nice. Keep turning it around. It has a nice spot right under the light pretty much, as does this basil, which was, again, it's one of the hydroponics, but it was a cutting. It was one of the smaller ones of the Genovese, so I cut that out. I re-rooted it in water, and it's doing quite nicely. This pecan, the last of the 3 yogurt containers that we saw earlier that didn't grow, still, giving it a chance. Not gonna count it out just yet. Finally, over here on the rack side, we have our chives, good old chives. Always looking fine. The garlic chives have been standing up pretty nicely for a while now. These regular chives over here are a little newer. They've actually been growing a little more vigorously, I think. There's also more of them. And then all our nice hydroponic herbs that have been transplanted are one of our basils, not sure exactly which one, maybe the Genovese. Got our beautiful parsley, one of the newer ones. The other basil, I believe, just by looking at it, I would say maybe that's the Italian large leaf and the other one is the Genovese. Can't be positive. Nice close-up look at that parsley. Parsley just grows really well. Maybe it's something about, I'm assuming it's the parsley grows well and nothing to do with my ability to grow it. Same with this marjoram. Looking really, really nice and bushy. Cut the top off. Of course, I think I showed that last week. The dill, all of it standing up on its own now, nice and tall and prominent. And the 3 pieces of tarragon, they're still hanging in there. They are hanging in there. Could be worse. And there, the top of the marjoram still rooting in water. Don't think it'll take too much longer. It's actually grown a little bit. Those little leaf nodes down at the bottom. Our russet potatoes, looking good. Not too leafy at the top yet, but definitely leafing. And also Anaheim chili, one of the newer hydro peppers that came out. The first of the newest 3. So it's I think it's definitely in there. These 2 poblanos as well. They've rooted themselves well in these pots. Those pots are a little bigger than the one the Anaheim chili is in, because the poblanos do grow a little bigger, have bigger peppers as well. This one, the bigger of the poblanos, again, the first of the 2 of those to transplant. This one was looking very wilted when I first transplanted it. I was in a rush, had to go do something, came back, it was super wilted, realized I didn't water it when I put it in. But look how nicely it's come back. Took only a day. I came back down the next morning, look, those leaves are just like, they're almost straight out. Seed starting. Now, our peanuts, and that is some new potting soil, and I've now realized there's one of our first tomatoes, so you can see some other really messy planting here, seed starting planting. I've realized the necessity now of pre-soaking your potting soil, especially, or not your potting soil, but your seed starting mix, especially if it's not like really premium stuff. That was pre-soaked. and it looks just fine. Those are some more tomatoes. Have 6 different types that I can't remember all of them right now. There's the spinach that hasn't come up yet. It's been a while for that. Here the I believe the marjoram and the rosemary, which wasn't doing great, but I think these 2 are gonna come up. Here the lavender, which again also didn't do very good. I think those are just the spike lavender. The Viri and Munstead did not come up. 4 sage that are looking decent. Some of the sage I think I might transplant into cups soon. Here the onions, which are ready to come out next week actually into the ground, looking very fine. Here the celery, which was planted later, planted in this potting soil as well, potting soil mix. It's still doing okay, even in there. It's going to be ready to come out in a week or so. And put those and the onions all together. They'll be the same thing. I'm going to be planting radishes with them. Here, our bell peppers, our California wonders. There's 10 of them that came up, 9 of them actually only 8. And here finally, from the herbs at least, our parsley, which has been transplanted into singular cups. All of them doing quite well. 11 out of 12 came up, and 11 out of 12 transplanted. Ready to go. Ready to give them away once anyone wants them. And for our pepper brand experiment, first we're doing the last ones planted. These are, I can't remember what day it was. That was a flower from one of the peppers above it, one of the big peppers. Those are the Serenicides habaneros that, as I mentioned last week, had those little seed hats that weren't coming off. I'm hoping that at least one of those will. It's same with those Rebel Garden cayennes, 2 of those, and Serenicide habanero there still with its little seed hat, but I think that one will be okay. Plus there's another one there, the jalapenos all growing pretty well. They do of course come up earlier. It looks like mostly got 1 of each germinated again in that one. This is the second one's, the middle one's planted. Looks pretty disgusting, but they'll go away once we get those transplanted. And these are pretty much ready to go. You see here, this cayenne didn't quite grow yet. One of them didn't germinate. The other one has a seed stuck on it. I didn't want to hurt the plant too much, so I stopped messing with it. Seed still stuck to one of those as well. That would be the sustainable sprout. Here, the Serenicide, only 1 germinated, but it looks pretty nice. As long as you get 1, it's enough. But I will be counting how many germinate, of course, and sort of how fast I stopped keeping daily track, doing as best I could. They're mostly grown to the point now. I think I don't really need to anymore. But again, yeah, these are ready to probably be transplanted. Most of them. Definitely the jalapenos. I could maybe just do the jalapenos and leave the other ones go for a little longer. I don't really like opening up the thing, so I'm wondering if those clear containers are the reason that stuff's growing, because the light's going straight through those clear slots in between. But yeah, finally, the newest of the peppers, they are now nice, transplanted into their own cups. These nice little cross cups. Habaneros here first, all transplanted just fine. Here the cayenne. Yeah, March 2nd, so they're over a month old at this point. Again, all the cayenne looking pretty good. As we go, it seems like they get a little bigger from the Rebel Gardens to the Serenicide, the Sustainable Sprout, Nature's Edge. Actually, they do look kind of similar. And that leaf, that seed leaf there on the Sustainable Sprout, that's not damage or anything. It's actually just some mutation on the leaf when it was formed. All of them looking quite fine. And finally, the jalapenos. First jalapenos we did back in March 2nd. All of those are looking great. Again, of course, we took the largest of the 2, if there were 2, And in fact, out of this first batch, there were 2 germinated. All of the jalapenos germinated. So you saw those cuttings we had soaking in water earlier. There is 1 of each of these, in fact. And if I look back at the videos, I can maybe even figure out which one is which. Beautiful though, looking amazing. There's a nice shot of all of them together near the light. I basically just rotate them around, take the habaneros, which are in front now, I put those in the back, move the jalapenos up, and the cayennes up too. Jalapenos would be in the front, move the habanero to the back. Finally, for our seed starting, here's the bonsai chili, or the Bonchi experiment. Fish on the right, Ring of Fire cayennes on the left. That's fish peppers are from Serenity, the Ring of Fire are from Rebel Gardens. All of the fish germinated beautifully. This is the only Ring of Fire that came up. It actually had a seed hat on it, and I don't think I damaged the seed leaves. It seems to be just fine. And some more spearmint cuttings, not doing great. I'm not sure if they'll take or not. Hopefully they will. I've been wasting a lot trying to get more cuttings. And all those random other things. Finally, the granddaddies. The first hydroponics, the cayenne and the jalapenos, 3 of each. Here we have all 3 of our cayenne. This is the smallest, which is, I don't know, kind of seems to be struggling. I've still been plucking the flowers off of it. See, I actually have held up the big cayenne now with something. Got it staked. Here's the second largest. The other cayenne that had to be cut back because of, I believe, nutrient burn. I'm not positive what it was. I probably went a little too far with it. But I thought it would come back. It kind of did. Has a couple flowers. I thought it had one that ended up being pollinated, but I think it fell off. So none growing right now, or no fruits yet, but a couple flowers that may be pollinated. We'll find out if they're successful or not. Here, the final cayenne, you can see though, it's not only is it pulled back to a normal position now, but it's fruits that looking lovely as always. The leaves looking much more yellow. They've been yellowing. All the leaves of all the plants actually seem to be going yellow. I'm wondering if it's maybe calcium has something to do with that. I did read that peppers and tomatoes both have problems with calcium deficiency, so I may need to do something about that. We'll see. They are probably getting near the, I don't know how long they'll fruit for, but I'm hoping I'll get a couple batches out of them, so if they might need a hit of some calcium, I believe. Maybe. Let me know in the comments if you know the problem I'm having right here. Again, here's our first 2 jalapenos, the ones planted together, our twin jalapenos. Only 3 total. One plant has 1 plant has 2, the 2 on the side there. And there's 1 little extra one on the side that one of the plants has. Those are 2 from different plants there. A couple other flowers, only a couple, because we have a lot of flower drop happening. I figured it was kind of normal, but it's seeming to not be very normal, at least on the other ones. With this jalapeno in the middle here, big one, it could be a little normal because it has so much fruit on it right now that's growing that it might just be getting rid of all the other flowers, and that's okay because it has like 10 fruits on there right now. Some of them, probably like 4, 5 maybe, are pretty good size. Those 2 on the 2 of them on the twin jalapeno have been growing quite nicely, pretty quickly too. 2 in the back are nice. That one toward the middle, and this nice big one in the front, that's the biggest one for sure. It's like the size of the width of my fingers, pretty much, its length. Still waiting for them to start getting dark. No fruiting yet, but we'll see. That is it for garden vlog number 5. Thanks for watching.